Reducing labor with NetDispatcher automation. We'll be talking this afternoon about our product, our NetDispatcher software that is really set up to service a lot of the industry that has field service reps. Today specifically, we're talking about it in the context of landscapers and the specifics of their business as it relates to opportunities. There's a lot of different values to the software itself, and for the most part, we'll restrict our conversation today to the discussion about labor savings and how that's going to play out. With that said, let's go ahead and start. I want to start first of all talking about the broad context of the business that you have. A lot of folks that aren't in the industry might think of it as a very simple business. It's mowing grass, right? Of course not. It's a whole lot more than that. For one thing, it's managing a business. And you've got a lot of different factors. A lot of it's happening remotely, and you can't see it. And then you've got the same kinds of departmental structures that other companies have. Where you've got different groups. You've got sales and marketing folks, you've got accounting, you've got operations, payroll. You have to be able to manage it as a small business. And one of the things that our software does for you is it allows you to recognize the various pieces of information that your different groups of people need, collect that information in one place, enter it one time instead of in each different group, and then leverage that information across the whole group. So the first point here being the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Both is contributed to a shot. So you can have each group collecting the data that they know they care about, but when you get it all together, then you can view it to look across the entire customer experience and your interaction with that customer. Then all of a sudden you've got different elements. You've got more data to make decisions, better opportunities to serve the customer effectively. One very obvious saving right off the bat is reducing redundant efforts. So if each department that interfaces with a customer currently keeps records on your piece of paper, maybe Rolodex, maybe their phones plus Excel spreadsheets, any number of things, this opportunity lets you collect it right here in that dispatcher and then use it for each of those groups however they want to use it. They don't have to give up their specific needs. You can put the fields in that they care about. But just reduce and eliminate that effort that currently happens in many companies where they're putting in information multiple times. Let's talk for just a minute about CRM, which is customer record relationship management, estimates, and agreements. One of the things, let me see if I can pull it up right here for us to specifically look at. I'm sorry, give me just a moment. And I can't. I'm sorry, I apologize. So one of the things that we have to be able to do in our business is to track who that customer is from the point that they're a lead to the point that actually they become a paying customer and somebody that we have a repeat relationship with them. CRM is an important element that lets us really keep track of those people all the way through the business. We have a new element to our lead section that is actually rolling out next week, and that will show a very extensive CRM utilization and capabilities so that you can track all the emails that go from your specific email addresses out to that contact or that contact as they come into your email addresses, so you can see that information. You can also look at everything from invoices to work you've already done for them, equipment or properties they might have if you're serving multiple properties. All that kind of information will be reported and recorded in the CRM. Estimates is another piece of that. I apologize here, folks. Looks like I'm losing something. Okay, we're back. So as the estimates get put together, one of the things that will save a lot of time for you is if you can set up the program, upload all of your pricing sheets. So if you've got materials, let's say you're building out flower beds and maybe you've got some hardscapes with stonework and paths that you're creating and things like that. Create your materials list, create your pricing list, and then when you go out to give an estimate, it's a matter of plugging in the measurements, the dimensions, the things that identify that unit, and when you can have all of the other information already built in, and so now when you go out to do an estimate, it's a simple process. You don't have to go back to the office and spend a lot of time putting things together. You can do it right there in the field, and you can even create a document right there and review it with your customer while you're right there face to face. You can email it to them, and saves you a whole lot of time, both in terms of actual hours of your time, and also being able to connect with that customer right then when they're excited about it. Imagine what it's like when you're walking their property and talking through the things they want and enjoy food with them. And there is no time when they're more likely to want to sign the agreement and get it done than when you're right there talking about it. Once you go back to the office, it's the next day to go around to it and do the work, or have somebody in the office there assist you with actually creating the document and finally get it out to the customer. They may or may not have already lost interest, depending on what else is going on in your life. The other thing then, as you do that estimate, is you have the ability to immediately take that information and turn it right into an agreement. Let me take just a moment here. And pull up the system. Forgive me for the delay here, folks. Log into the system here and pull that up and see if we can talk through it. Okay. So I apologize, I'm having some connection problems here today. Okay, let's move on to job setup as another opportunity. We just came from the sales side of things, where we can save time to the salesperson and cycle time from the moment of the conversation starting with your customer to getting the estimate in their hands and the likelihood of them signing up with you. And then the ability to take that estimate and you can move it to an agreement as an electronic process in the software without having to recreate and re-enter all that information. The next opportunity then becomes setting up your recurring jobs. There's of course a lot of landscaping that is a recurring service. So it might be as simple as, let's say the job is a cycle for a customer where you'll be mowing their lawn every week for 52 weeks. Let's call it the premier package. And you're going to do that every week. You're also going to trim and edge and things like that. So the place really looks sharp. In addition to that, let's say on a quarterly basis, you're going to take the color flower beds that they have at the front of their property. And so you're going to do a seasonal change out on the color. And so that will be 4 times a year. Might not necessarily be on a quarterly basis. Depending on where you are in the country, those seasons might run a little differently. If you're in the Houston market, your winter season might be about 20 minutes. Where if you're in Michigan or Minnesota, it's going to be a little bit longer, right? But you've got recurring jobs, and what you want to do is when you set that up in your estimate, that you've actually then taken that same opportunity and you're going to use that then to set up the recurring jobs in your software, and it will literally take every occurrence. If you're supposed to mow that lawn 52 times, it will allow you to make selections on, let's say, weekly and every Monday, and I think even a time associated with if that's helpful to you. So you set those elements up, the easy selections, and then you hit process, and it will go out and it will schedule every one of those jobs in your software. So now as you start to book additional work and look out at the month ahead, things like that, you can actually see what your business looks like and what your revenue is going to look like next month based on the stuff that you already have set up as part of your contract. Of course, you get the calls for one-off type also, right? And one-off things might occur from an existing customer who has you doing contract work on a regular basis, and they might have something special they want done. Maybe they want tree trimming done. And that's something that you may have in your contract that you're going to do tree trimming whenever it's needed, but there's an additional charge of $75 a month. That's fine. That element can be entered in as now we're doing a job, scheduling that job for one time, and utilizing that pricing that is part of that contract or that pricing sheet that you're looking at. As we move forward from there, controls are not being able today. Okay, sorry. So we've got the jobs, they've been set up, either as recurring work or as new work coming in. And now we can look at, again, that was a pretty painless process. Much of the work was done in the sales process, and most of that was automated. the preparation of the document, what's the what's going out, and their measurements, and their discussions, and all those kinds of things. But the paperwork and the entry and all that is really quite simple. Once it comes to the operational side, then, as you've got that job sitting in the queue, there's a number of different elements that are impacted. There's of course the office staff, the office manager, a dispatcher, folks that are interacting with that system and meeting with us, and also in many cases interacting with the customer. So the fact that a lot of this work never had to be intervened by that team, that alone is a large savings. And then as you have new work being called in, if it's an existing customer, then all that customer information is there already. And when we type in the first three letters of that customer's name, it populates or brings up a list from which you can choose which customer it is. So if you put in PAU, it might pull up all the calls that you had, and pull up Pauline, and also pull up the other laughing up Paulson. So you just select from that drop down which of the customers you have, and it pulls in all their information, and so you can go directly to reporting the information about this particular request, as opposed to worrying about getting all the address information, contact information. When it comes to the crew, dispatching for the crew, there are several things that come into play there. One thing is, as you're scheduling this work, as you're populating the engine system, many folks choose to assign the, let's say, the morning work to your teams, but to hold out the afternoon work or some of the additional calls that come in, and just put it in a holding queue, so that as your day develops, you know how it is. Not every day goes according to plan, right? You could have a truck that gets flat tired, and say you lose an hour or two between properties since you want to put it into lose. So you might have to reroute some of your crews or split up some crews to make all the calls happen. And so you can maintain some of that flexibility for yourself by keeping some of the jobs in holding queue and allocating those as you see those needed. Of course, you could allocate them all right up front. If you want to have the same crew or the same set of properties or 10 properties every Monday, that's another really easy way to do it. And then at any point if you need to change it, it's just dragging and dropping it from whatever the schedule is currently you want. It's not a big effort. As far as the crew themselves, then, they will have handheld devices, telephones or pads and things like that. And so their view is optimized for their kind of input. So rather than having to do a whole lot of typing or things like that, that's set up as much as possible. So there's as few items as they need, so that it's clear and easy to use. They don't have a lot of referral data and interaction points on their screen that they don't need or they wouldn't be using. It's not helpful for their operation. With that, then they're doing things like starting the job when they get there, ending the job, or completing the job when they're done, and the system then is tracking the time that they spent actually there doing that job. Many folks use this and can actually have a person logging in at the beginning of their shift and then logging out at the end of their shift. And so it's capturing the full day that they're working, not just the time that they're working on a specific job. We all know there's cleanup, there's various activities, administrative activities, or whatever that they're doing, in addition to the work that they're actually doing at the customer site. And so it's important to, of course, be able to recognize total time that somebody is working, and then time that should be allocated out to various accounts or various customers. So with that said, the devices are set up, systems are set up, reporting is available, and things like that, to be able to effectively track their tenants, and then to be able to easily have that available for the manager to review and approve before it rolls up into a report that goes over to your accounting folks, and whether they produce the checks in-house or they send those checks out to a service. That whole process goes from what today might be a really painful process to make sure everything is reported and accurate and approved by the managers. It's something that really just becomes part of the daily operation and becomes a non-event in so many ways. It's also really a powerful element for us, or for you, because it's where you're collecting a lot of your data. So if you want to understand how you're performing against what you're bidding, so let's say you're quoting somebody for services, but perhaps you've never had the ability to tell if you're actually recovering the cost and making some profit on that actual service. So now you can do things like that and start to understand there's places where maybe your margin isn't what it could be because it actually costs you more to do the shrubbery trimming and things like that in a particular property than you had anticipated. It also helps you because you can start to compare services across crews and based on square footages of lawn mowing or equipment that's being used, if you have different types of tractors or push mowers or edgers, trimmers, starts to let you look at those kinds of elements that are impacting your business and then justify equipment that's going to save you the most labor and be the most effective for the service. And then the last thing is a lot of times as you're, let's say, dealing with severe weather, maybe days of rain, like some parts of the country had recently. Right now, you probably have this issue if you've got 100 customers and it's been raining for the last 2 or 3 days. There's probably some customers that are getting aggravated that their grass is growing too high. They know it's raining, but they're still unhappy. Then you've got other customers that if you were to go over there and actually mow, even a day or two after all that rain, they're going to be upset because your equipment is leaving tracks in the grass. And so this gives you an opportunity. You can interface with some of the VoIP systems and be able to communicate out to your customers that because of rain, we're delaying your property service, typically on Monday and we'll get to it on Wednesday this week. Just things like that start to perhaps eliminate some of the concerns from your customers and avoid some calls and availability and things like that. Going back to the time and attendance thing just briefly, frontline accountability. So if my time is being tracked and I'm the one that's entering it, starting the stopping and all those kinds of things, right off the bat, there's a greater accuracy and responsibility that I'm going to feel as I'm doing that. My manager is going to feel that accountability also, because again, the effectiveness of the business, the productivity of the business is a key element. And as you're looking at your key performance indicators, to have data that is concrete, that you can actually start seeing numbers and then setting goals and setting targets that we want to improve productivity. You've got the information, you've got the structure in place, to be able to have those conversations and to engage people in that effort. And a lot of times is learning that occurs across crews as they start sharing what they're doing and how they're doing it and getting the results. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, time card review is fast and painless. We've got the data for unit costing and easy export to payroll. Invoicing. I'm going to step this up just a little bit because we're almost out of time. So you can do things like gather the customer signature, the invoices themselves. Typically, businesses want to have the invoice being issued from the office, not from the field tech. You can do it however you want to set it up, and then force it to travel that path. One of the great things about invoicing through the system is you can actually review the invoices through a report. So you don't have to page through 100 invoices, checking each one of them for two particular things that you're looking for. You can generate a report that shows you all the information and even shows you the outliers of the particular things that you're looking for. So then maybe you're only looking at 3 lines on a report, and then you can go ahead and batch process so that all of those invoices are generated, and you can send it electronically, or you can have that information integrated with QuickBooks or Sage or whatever you're using in your accounting. So those functionalities can be designed in and save you a whole lot of time there. Making reporting, we've already covered most of these points in other parts of the discussion. Accounting, as we were just talking about, you can invoice from that dispatcher, or you can integrate to your other systems. I think at this point, if we just literally run through the whole is greater than some of the parts, so people using the information across your whole enterprise, eliminate redundancy, set up your CRM so you're tracking the experience with your customer and have that information to rely on and use throughout. A lot of savings for sales and marketing and generating the estimates and agreements. A lot of savings on contracts instead of incurring in individual jobs. Dispatch, there's a lot of savings both in the office and out on the crew. Even route optimize. If you got folks taking competitive accounts today, the system can take the addresses on those accounts and give you the optimized path for them to take. You can always choose to override that if for some other reason you want to do it in a different order. Communication with your customer, that saves you time in your office, both in communicating to them yourself actively, or in dealing with your calls since they don't know what's going on. A lot of times saved on accumulating data for costing and productivity. And productivity is key to improving your productivity, saving costs. Reporting on recognizing margin exceptions, showing ROI on equipment investments. A lot of times when you're purchasing equipment, you're getting perhaps a wider blade mower because it's going to cover the lawn in less passes, which is going to mean less time and labor to accomplish that. So you can report and include this information in your justifications and the business cases. So you're getting the credit, if you will, for the paper savings in other places. And then the last one is just reporting progress on the productivity. I thank you for joining us today. I apologize that I did not have my connection set up correctly for my system to show online here, but I hope that I successfully communicated the breadth of opportunity for savings in labor, not just out in the field, not just the guy who's mowing the lawns and trimming the edges, but all the way through your office staff your management, your sales, and even ownership of the company as they are able to review the status of the business much quicker and see what needs attention they need. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was Keno Turner, and this is Net Dispatching. If you have interest in looking further at our product, please go online to netdispatcher.com, and you'll see a lot of great information there for the Academy, for things like a sign up for a free trial of the software, and we'd love to do demos. We'd love to show how this product can make a difference in your business and support those improvements that you want to make, the automation you want to execute, and we work hand in hand with you. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.